recording has started now. All right. Who would like to do a recap of last session, just for point of DM inspiration to go towards the next time that you might need it?
Somebody else please take a turn to do this.
Oh, God.
I can't do it every time.
Who hasn't done it yet?
I think that's gonna be me.
Alright, then off you go.
So where we started off last time, we were all just hanging around after the rest of the party had been through quite some troubles in the catacombs down below, hanging around just trying to grab a breath, when a creepy old lady from a hole just kind of stood up and just kind of started pointing towards us, I believe, saying, "Get out." It was soon after that a chain devil started chasing after us as we all tried running out of the place, with darkness following us. After a little bit of combat, a little bit of realizing if we do some religion checks to clear out the darkness, we can stop the effects of it, some of which being exhaustion levels hitting us, and some of which being just general badness. We were able to kill the chain devil, clear out the darkness, but also just get out of there as we ran out. The effects of the souls were effective as the darkness was still following us out of the camp. As soon as we left, we got a call from a familiar voice, and then we were teleported back, and we were able to have a quick catch-up regarding what happened in the catacombs and what we had found out about the necrotic flavorings that we had witnessed.
There was also some time nonsense, according to Ennis. We'd spent longer in that catacomb than we had any right to in terms of the relative time outside, which was weird.
We believed we had only been there for a day longest, but they kept on stating it'd been 48 hours, and we were rather confused by the statement.
Yep, sweet. Yeah, that's great. Add a point of DM inspiration to your sheet. Woo! Very nice work.
It's because Sneezy has no anticipation idea of time.
Yeah, Sneezy's like, what is time? What does it smell like? Can I touch it? Yeah, time is a flat circle.
So imagine that the past is the room behind you, and the future is the room in front of you, and the present is a door. Time is going through the door.
Don't say the D word anywhere near Snesley Vipers. Oh no! Sweet daughter! Not good stuff, team. Okay, so what we're going to do from here is I'm going to read out the basically the Ludus and Lusa information sheet that we've got so far for our particular version of Ludus. As I'm reading out, you guys are more than welcome to stop me and ask me any questions, or you can feel free to pin it and we can go back talk about it later. It's entirely up to you. So I'm just going to do this, and then the rest of the session will be pretty much directed by you guys as I'm sort of pottering around in the background. So, welcome to Ludus and Lusa, the city of adventurers. Are you ready to embark on an unforgettable journey into the heart of Ludus and Lusa, a city brimming with excitement and opportunities for brave souls like yourself? As you set foot within the city's ancient walls, be prepared to be enchanted by the myriad of wonders that await you. Whether you seek rare treasures, challenging quests, or camaraderie with fellow adventurers, Ludus and Lusa has it all. Prepare to discover your destiny in the enchanting realm of Ludus and Lusa. The city's allure lies not only in its wealth of treasures, but also in the bonds you'll forge with like-minded adventurers. So, don your armor, grasp your weapons, and set forth into the heart of this fabled city where thrilling escapades and untold riches await. So,
this
first point
has been delivered to you by Ludus and Lusa.
Brought to you by our sponsors, the Library of Lacrimae, for all of your adventuring needs. This message has been approved by Ennis.
I really want to go.
All right, so first point of interest is the markets and armory. So the first market is the Bazaar of Aegis, which is the market that you will see on the map. If you guys want to zoom out and scroll down a little bit. So the market is just down here.
Oh, I should probably join a Roll20.
Yeah,
I should probably launch it.
Yep. Just maybe. I mean, I can just screen share for you guys in Discord if you want, if that makes it easier.
I'll get in there.
Okay, no worries.
Oh, I'm actually in there.
I'm in.
Am I in? Why am I chatting? Why am I whispering to them?
I don't know. I've got background music, so my brain's like not even engaged in the Discord really right now.
She just reminded me I need to put the music on for the small human. One moment.
This is lovely music. I can hear a trace of it.
Yeah, I didn't want to have it cranking too loud. This is just your standard, like, bustling adventurer city situation kind of thing going on, so...
I can't hear any music.
Yeah, the baddies always
It's quiet.
have the best
Just give it a
music.
second, it'll load in. The baddies always have such, like, an impeccable vibe. Like, they serve every time. They come in and it's like, here comes the hurricane! Here comes the hurricane! You know? It's like they spend all this time crafting not only the nefarious plans, but the outfit and the entrance
and the
drip
as
and
it
the
were.
drop. Yeah, exactly. You got it.
Snesley thinks he needs his own entrance music.
He's
Good.
okay. Canonically now, I've got in my head that Snesley every time he enters somewhere into a fight, he goes dun 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 dun.
Oh, I love it. That's brilliant.
Dun.
It's either that or was it the classic Sledgehammer, the old
Yeah.
Sledgehammer TV show?
Oh, nice. Yeah.
I don't know what that is. I feel like they may have
Peter
a...
Gabriel, it's a classic.
Oh, Peter. Yes.
Yeah.
The that one. Yeah.
Yeah,
Fancy chicken.
his favourite thing is his big gun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could have a steam train.
Oh, that's another song.
Yeah.
That's a different song.
Is that? I thought that was Sledgehammer by Peter Gabriel.
There was a TV show called Sledgehammer.
We're gonna
Ah.
have to find it now. You're gonna have to find it.
Yeah, you're gonna have to.
Probably
Also,
not.
this is an opportunity here for you guys as well, that if you are not happy with your builds, or if you're not happy with the items and stuff that you've chosen, now is an opportunity to change them around. You can change out some spells and stuff. You can basically just tweak and fine-tune your characters a little if you would like to. That's what this opportunity in today's sort of world building and character session stuff is all about.
Sounds good. I still don't have. I've still only got one magic item because I can't work out what I'm doing with my life.
That's okay.
So I
That's
might look in
okay.
the market and find something
Yeah.
cute. But
Yeah. Find something
Yeah, we-
like a little crocheted fungus of some sort.
We need to have
an
a family conference.
umamigurumi, if you will.
Yeah.
I think I would like to try and find Thea's voice. Like,
My bag of holding could be a basket fungus.
oh, I nearly had.
You can
I
call it a
nearly
bag
had
of molding! Sorry.
You have to reach inside the puffball to get the stuff out.
And it's like real sticky and gross and no one else wants to touch it.
Nobody wants to touch it.
No one wants to touch it. Okay,
Snesley,
that's
trying to
canon
put
now.
sandwich
Okay, for your you have a bag of molding.
Yep, on board.
Excellent.
I was saying I want to try and find Thea's voice. Because
Yeah,
feel
I mean,
that-
by all means, please do so. If you feel like maybe that's something you could think about doing or want to engage in a little today, by all means.
well,
Snesley,
I kind of want
Snesley.
to try, but the voice, like the register, I think I'm just gonna have to give up on because, like, I'm 3 weeks post laryngitis and I still have a inflamed voice box. So it's
What
not
if
going
what if
anywhere.
maybe instead of like a pitch or something, you have a certain like lilt in your speech?
Yeah, I was
like
thinking- I
Boomhauer?
was thinking, like, I was listening to some Valley Girls the other day.
Oh my
Like,
god!
it was like
How the fuck off, right?
yes,
Got a
something
little
like
rising
that.
tone at the end, you know.
A little bit of I'll talk my bar.
Yeah, something like that. But I'm not. I've beaten it out of myself, so I don't know how to beat it back in.
You need the Lin of Tower, I reckon.
Yeah. So, something- or I can really lean into my Australian accent, like really elongate those vowels or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Really stretch him out. Take those vowels out to dinner or something. I don't know.
Problem is that
Oh, mate, you see him.
I spend a lot of time with Australians. I feel like I've nailed the accent.
fight
I just
those.
need to.
But the other one you could
Out.
you could always try your South African. Your
No,
South
no,
Africans,
no.
eh?
No, I've got
Just
too
bad.
many. I've had too many hobgoblins with South African accents thrown at me in the last. I don't know why this is a thing, but this is a thing.
I kind of
People
like
keep
that
making
though. I kind of like
hobgoblins.
that.
Yeah, it sounds about right for
Hobgoblins.
hobgoblins.
They're obsessed with
Hobgoblins?
order. I don't know why, what it is, but like they.
Are you
just,
trying to save face in front of me because you probably should?
Yeah, no, my
Just
South
a
African
second.
is
Trying.
my Australian.
Stop
It
trying to do that.
hashtags triggers me now. It's just like no, hobgoblins does just.
Z.
My South African becomes quite offensively Indian, so that's
Yeah,
not
let's not.
Yeah.
Let's avoid that.
happening. Let's not.
Let's avoid
So I
that.
don't-
How about how?
This is
Okay,
the general rule.
let's make the rule of thumb that the
Australian.
only accents we can make fun of are ones that are canonically Caucasian.
Yeah, for sure.
Z Germans.
Oh,
As
no,
the Germans.
The Germans.
It doesn't
What are you afraid of?
intentionally
The
become that,
Germans?
is what it is.
Always make fun of German efficiency. Ha ha.
How do you stand that Timotheus should be a crow from Aberdeen?
Oh god.
Are you a Scottish crow? My stars.
Whenever I'm
That's
not
terrible.
You
familiar
always
with
try to come from the
it
band.
always turns to Irish.
Yeah, it's a slippery
I'm
slope, that
Welsh.
one.
Yeah,
Okay.
Scottish
I'll
goes to
spell
Irish,
Welsh
and Irish sort of
Yeah.
sneaks into Welsh, and
You could always go like from your somewhere in the north of England if you'd like.
Yeah, but
oh
I'm a
look,
super
oh look, that one, it's quite
You-
nice.
you
That.
could, yeah.
Right.
Must be
It's-
voice of Gummage.
I grew up on an
Yeah.
island. I've got a
Was the government?
super beach vibe thing going on, and the north of
Yeah.
England doesn't really have a beach vibe to me.
It's not. It doesn't. You know, you are correct. It doesn't exactly give beach vibes. Or you could go
Not
like
really.
Jersey.
Yeah.
I don't like Snooky. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah. Emily Exford does a really good Jersey accent.
Hers is a Boston accent for Sophie
Boston?
Bikes.
I
Yeah.
don't- Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't. But one of my
Boston.
really good,
Yeah.
one of my really good mates here is from California. That's where she grew up, and I could get her to teach me.
I think Timotheus has to sound like a sort of curate. You know, don't call me vicar, call me Dick. That's the sort of vicar I am. You know, so that he has to be. He has to be insufferable in a sort of school counselor way, and I feel like just like a.
Yeah, like
Europe-
you can call
Eastern
me.
European something.
Yeah.
They're British.
Yeah, like don't call me Master Timotheus. That's my father. You can call me Tim.
Yeah.
I'm just Tim.
Just Tim. You're
I'm
a
Master
lizard,
Tim.
Harry. I'm a what? Sorry.
Lizard.
Lizard.
Yep, true. Now canonically a lizard.
Yeah, yeah.
Every
Canonically
time I
now,
put
lizard.
paws on somebody, it's like, terribly sorry, oh boy.
Oh, I'm terribly sorry, old chum.
Yes, some more jars.
Don't mind me.
Oh,
I know
yeah,
they call me a
listen to that.
gaseous being, but I'm really a fun guy. Mind the spores.
Look, we're not trying to make sport of you.
Don't make me laugh so hard.
Sorry.
How dare you
I
be
got the
entertaining
official
and
word
funny?
today that I'm not contagious. I'm just inflamed.
That's okay.
I'm not contagious, I'm just inflamed.
Yeah,
That's
just inflamed.
That's
Sure,
like,
come on, there's a mushroom.
goes
token
on a
in
mug.
somewhere.
That belongs on a mug. That
Yeah,
belongs
that's
on a t-shirt.
yeah, that
It
definitely.
does belongs on one of mine for sure. Oh dear.
I think I almost need my wife's got a mug that's just like a unicorn, which kind of want, but it has like whatever bitches and my bitches whatever. I'm like whatever bitches and the bitches whatever.
All right, so moving on. Even though we got heinously
Moving
distracted. Okay, so
Heinous.
so we got the Bazaar of Aegis. Yeah, the
How bizarre.
Chinese. How bizarre.
What I needed is a catchphrase.
So we got the Bazaar of Aegis, which is down here. As the bustling marketplace is a treasure trove of exotic goods and powerful artifacts. Seek out skilled merchants and haggle for magical trinkets, rare potions, and enchanted weapons to bolster your prowess. Now, also attached to the market,
It bolster my prowess.
is that what the kids are calling it these days? Also, within the market as well, there's also a specialist store called the Steel and Spellforge. Known as the most renowned armory in the city, Steel and Spellforge provides a selection of meticulously crafted armor and weapons tailored to suit any adventurer's needs. Whether you're a seasoned warrior or a novice, this is the place to fortify yourself for the challenges ahead. Now, the Steel and Spellforge has specifically contracted with the library, so it's basically like only if you are part of the field division you get access to the Steel and Spellforge. Commoners can't. Yeah, commoners can't access that.
Snesley still might be banned from it.
Commoners. Yikes. Oh, Snesley, no, they love you there.
I'm like the perfect test bed for their big stabby things.
Yeah,
exactly. They're just like stay still while we smash things across you.
I generally bring them to me because I'm not allowed in there because I may have touched some things that I should.
Maybe I did touch a few things I wasn't allowed to touch.
They got rid of it. It was I did not mean to hurt these peoples, but
they did say
called for me.
They did say I was to break it and buy it, but I broke it and I did not in fact buy it, as I have $0.
Exactly.
I do not have any money, given that I am dead. So
that's why I keep getting these strange bills.
Yeah.
For broken weapons.
This is why Ennis is just like, why do I even? Okay, you get a retainer. I take care of all of your money, and that's it. Because everything you break, she gets billed for. Ennis has had enough.
Sneezy is just never leaving the employee.
Yeah, no.
He owes that much.
Yeah, it's all company script for you, Snesley, at this point.
Yep.
All right, so moving on, we are going to look at the
shinies.
I crave the shinies. So, we can put a pin in this for now until we carry on reading. So, the Lachrymé Library and the Council of Pages. So this is where you can immerse yourself in knowledge and lore at the library. This grand repository of ancient tomes, scrolls, and mystical texts holds the secrets of forgotten civilizations and hidden spells. The librarians here are eager to share their wisdom, guiding you towards revelation and understanding. So, the Great Lachrymé Library, which is the place that you guys are pretty familiar with. You guys have spent a lot of time there. One of the city's crowning achievements was the establishment of the Lachrymé Library. Scholars and sages from far and wide gathered within its hallowed halls to study the ancient texts and chronicles collected over the years. This bastion of knowledge not only provided a repository of wisdom, but also served as a hub for intellectual exchange, paving the way for great advancements in various fields, such as the arcane sigil, seal, spell magic, and all that sort of thing. Over time, the library became a college of sorts, training those with aptitude to ensure the benefit of the people of the land. To sharpen your skills and master the arts of combat, strategy, and magic, head to the Arena of Ascendancy within the library grounds, which is where you guys trained up. Here, seasoned veterans and skilled trainers will help you hone your abilities, preparing you for graduation into the Lachrymé Field Division of Adventurers.
Nice. And that is also a place I would like to go to.
Yes.
Some actual RP.
Yep, that's fine.
I would love to do a little comparative religion and ask some questions about the interesting Sylvan Lady and some of the iconography that we saw in the Barrows.
Mm-hmm. Sounds good.
Right. You'll just go straight to the training ground.
Yeah.
He avoids the library.
Yeah.
The library confuses him.
I don't want to go in there. There's things that go on fire in there. I don't trust myself.
He's the kinesthetic learner.
Yeah. Okay.
A valid learning style.
It is a valid learning style. It requires a few accommodations, but we get there eventually, don't we?
Yes, that's right. According to the learned magus Johannes Dewey, your way of learning about the world is valid.
I love how it's Grand High Archmagus.
Johannes Dewey.
Johannes Dewey. It's so good. Okay, moving on. The Inns of Respite.
I taste.
So these are inns that are just outside of the library. So these are ones that are available to like commoners, travelers, people who aren't necessarily within the bounds of the library. So they're basically where you'd go when you get leave from doing your field division stuff. So you know how you get like army base leave? You can go out and like party in the town and then come back for your various duties. So there are a couple that are of most interest to you guys. So you've got the Dragon's Rest Ale House and the Singing Scale Inn. So they're known for their warm hospitality, delectable feasts, and spacious rooms. So the Dragon's Rest Ale House is in this little clutch of buildings just in front of the library. So this little clutch of buildings in here. The other which is the singing scale, is actually over at the docks, which is looking on this part of the map. The docks are over here. Like, you can't see it because the compass is in the way, but over here, where the Lacrimé sort of turns and goes into their elbow and heads off the map, that's where the Ludus docks are. So, the docks and shipyard. When you venture to the bustling docks of Ludus and Lusa, you'll find a fleet of majestic vessels waiting to carry you on daring sea expeditions. So these boats will take you both up and down the river, out to the estuary, and all that sort of thing. So there are a couple of very famous ships that do the river trip from Mount Custos all the way to the estuary, and they do that run quite often. Especially given that the closer you get to the ocean, the river like really, really widens out, and it becomes like this huge salt marsh, deep water sort of like collision between the Lacrimé River and the sea. They're captained by seasoned sailors eager to guide you through uncharted waters, which I don't know if we'll get to explore that in this particular round of Yes and, but we'll see. So,
it's probably how I arrived. I am a bird, but I can't fly that long of a distance.
Are you some sort of African swallow?
Albatross.
African or European? No, I'm not corvid, but corvids are not really migratory animals. So I can fly a good way, but like there's limits, and I like sleeping. So I probably did like book passage on a ship for at least some of the journey.
Yeah,
so
and the seamen were like, LeMayo, put him in the crow's nest. Also because you stink, and they wanted you as far away from everyone else on the ship as possible.
I don't stink. I just emanate spores occasionally.
I just emanate funk. In a
humid climate, and a cold climate, I probably just convert it to a sort of lichen.
Actually, yeah, you could cultivate a sort of moss and moss and fungi together to form lichen. What a cool thing!
When I transform into my wild shape, that is lycanthropy.
I will leave the call. Okay, that's dope. But your wild shape for that one has to be a wolf form of some sort. Like you've got your fungus bear, you can have your lichen wolf.
Lichen. Rise of the lichen.
Yeah, everyone's like, wow, how edgy. Lycanthropy? And you're like, no, it's moss and fungus, actually.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, so I'll find a way to add that to the game for you, because that's just too funny not to include, I think.
Being productive.
And
here
at some point, when that shape, Snesley sort of touched what should be the fur and wondered what the hell this is.
Yeah, well, I mean, to be fair, like, thematically, when you think about it, the lichen wolf could, instead of, like, how they have that really shaggy sort of, like, fur coat, instead of individual fronds of, like, fur, could just be, like, fronds of lichen instead. So you're, like, this mossy kind of, looks furry, but when you touch it, it's like the lichen that you find on, like, fern fronds and stones and that sort of thing, like that sort of...
Yeah, it's pleasant. It's got that crispy texture to it.
Yeah, and you smell like you smell like fresh dirt and like pine needles when you're in that form, so it's not that bad.
It's actually not bad.
Yeah, not bad, good size. Okay, so
not bad.
not bad.
Yeah. Not bad.
Good toys.
Good toys. See this guy? Number one bullcrap guy.
The trouble is with you guys around, I'm never going to be able to do it because I'm going to laugh my ass off too much before I get anything out of my mouth.
That's okay.
That's right.
It's okay. Okay, so we're going to move on to some of the notable characters that you guys would have met through your travels in Ludus so far. So we've got Astra Stormheart, who is one of the instructors at the library. So she's a fierce elven ranger renowned for her expert marksmanship and deep connection with nature. Seek her counsel on wilderness quests and tracking elusive foes. And then we have... Yeah, so and then we have Sir Alistair Blackthorn. He is sort of like the trainer in some of the martial classes at the school, so like fighters. He does a little bit of like paladin stuff on the side because he is a paladin. So he's a noble knight whose unwavering sense of justice and valorous deeds have earned him the respect of the entire city. Seek his aid in matters of honour and righteousness. So he is also, so all of these people here own the Guild of Pages as well because they operate under the instruction of the library, right? I'm just actually going to change that.
The guy that wouldn't let me turn into a bear and wrestle him. He's no fun.
Yeah.
Okay, Snesley looks up to him.
Yeah, Snesley's like, man, I've got such a big crush on this guy.
Well, to be fair, and honor and
mean-
like be like we from his original back like thing, honor in the tribe and stuff like was big. So not
Also,
so much your righteousness, but just honor.
yeah. Also, Alistair is a dwarf as well.
So Sneesy doesn't look up to him; he looks down to him.
Well,
He picks him up.
They
so
picks
that
him
he
up.
can
Appreciate
look
his-
up to him.
yeah.
You're such a
He
big
probably
man.
Yeah.
looked at Snesley's knees.
Yeah. Alistair's like,
oh, wait,
unhand
he's
me, you
always-
cad!
He stands on the ceiling
But
so
I
he can
can't
look
see him
up to
properly.
him.
He's up
Yeah.
here. Up here. I'd love to bring you up here.
Oh my god! Yeah, he just hangs upside down like a bat so we can look up at him like that from the ground. Oh,
I love that.
smart.
That's brilliant. Excellent.
Smart.
Awesome. Brilliant.
Okay, so going on from there, we have Innes Felidin. She is, for all intents and purposes, a human. She is a captivating enchantress who wields powerful magic and serves as an advisor to the city's leader. So she's kind of like really high up in the Pages Council. A member of the Pages Council, she is the main contact between the library's agents and the folks of Ludus. Approach her for guidance on mystical matters and the arcane arts, also for things related to jobs through the library. We've got Captain Roderick Ironsail, the daring leader of the shipyard. He's kind of the guy, like the quartermaster who runs everything around the docks, makes sure everything's going pretty smoothly. He is a seasoned sailor with a wealth of seafaring experience. Consult him for high-stakes oceanic voyages and tales of maritime adventures. So if you guys ever need a boat, you go and see him.
No, because he's got a sail made of iron. How impractical.
That's his shield that he wears on his back.
Oh!
Yeah. Yeah, he wears like a Spanish conquistador outfit, and then you've got the one who's a little bit harder to pin down is Captain of Waisi Vitchery, the enigmatic and cold leader of the Manu Moana crew who passes almost without a trace within the gossip of Ludus and Lusa. They do have a contract with the library, but you can't. Everyone you ask so far hasn't really been able to tell you what their speciality is. Trouble slides off them like water off a duck's back, but figuring out exactly why they're so revered in the seafaring trade tends to make the flapping lips of the drunken louts clam shut.
Clams.
Clams. Okay, moving on from there. So we've got the notable merchants and townsfolk. So these are people who you would have either interacted with in the past or know who they are, or they know of you well enough to come and find you if they need anything. So we've got Thaddeus Goldenleaf, also known as Thad. A respected alchemist known for crafting potent potions and elixirs catering to adventurers' unique needs. He is a gnome. But that doesn't stop him. We've got...
That was an awkward pause after he's a gnome, but everybody's like...
Everyone's
He's
like,
put
"Oh,
Sneezy
no,
in his
man."
place several times already.
Yeah. We've got Eleanor Hearthstone. She is a hobgoblin. So they are a wise and compassionate healer whose remedies and herbs have saved many lives in Ludus and Lusa. So Eleanor is kind of like... they tend to be the person that when you get hurt... the best way to describe her is probably like the school nurse. Right? Like she's not necessarily like exclusively employed by the library, but she does have a contract with them. And generally her and her like little coven... of healers of various races and genders and shapes and forms and all sorts of stuff. Like they will be the ones who come in and rescue you and patch you up when you get hurt. We've got
He's a repeat customer.
yeah, especially because bits of you keep falling off and you can't figure out how to stitch them back together again. So you gotta go and see Eleanor. And every time
That's off. They don't fall off. They cut off. Someone accidentally takes a knife to me. I don't know why they want to cut pieces off me.
Just carry sewing thread around at all times. You know, it's...
he's got big hands. Trying to thread a needle with hands that big is not going to be a fun time for him.
No, you don't. You misunderstand. I'm the one that sews things back. Just with my little bird hand.
My little bird hands. It's my strong hand. All right. So, and then we have the orc blacksmith, Helder Stonebeard. He is the renowned blacksmith behind the Steel and Spellforge, who is always eager to aid adventurers in their quest for better equipment. Now, Haldor is a retired adventurer. He had a very nasty injury, which has left him unable to use both of his legs.
Like 2 hours in the knee. That's terrible.
Yeah. Yeah, no, there was when you talk to him, it's difficult to get the full story out of him because it changes every time. And then we have Ophelia Starling, who is married to Eleanor. But, marriage works different here. They are an eccentric and talented enchanter who can imbue your weapons and armor with magical properties. So her being married to Eleanor has been great for Eleanor because Ophelia enchants all of Eleanor's bandages and makes sure that all the unguents and potions and various different things that are used to fix people up are always that little bit better at, like, preventing infection, making things heal up better, all that sort of thing. And they live, so Eleanor and Ophelia live, so they live near the castle. So they live in the little hamlet between the town hall and the castle, right opposite of the cathedral, because Eleanor and her coven, like, sort of work out of the cathedral most of the time.
It's a gentrified sleeper suburb of this town.
Yeah, kind of. It's like Ponsonby. It's the Ponsonby of Ludus Loser. and then you have Harold Brightwood, who is, because he is so unbelievably old, his race is kind of indeterminate. It's difficult to tell because he's so wizened, but he is a jovial and knowledgeable assistant librarian at the library, always ready to share tales of ancient civilizations and mythical creatures. So if you were to go and look for something in the and like to use it as an actual library, you would go and see Harold. He is the little creature that they keep in the stacks who can basically find you anything that you ask for as long as you ask the right questions, if that makes sense.
It's probably the only one person that knows the time that actually has first-hand knowledge of the time when Snesley was actually originally alive, probably.
Well, I mean, you're not sure.
Oh, yeah.
With Harold, it's kind of like if you catch him on a good day, he's going to be very helpful. But if you catch him on a bad day, he is the most curmudgeonly cretin you'll ever meet.
He's a bit American.
So him and Snesley get on really well then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Snesley's not bright enough to be worried about that.
No. All right, so have we got any questions or any points of interest that you guys want to raise with me so far?
Probably Snesley's a bit scared of the...
I'll get you guys to go one at a time. So, Steve, you go first.
Snesley's probably a bit scared of Haldor's Stonebed because he, at some stage, may have accidentally made fun of his lack of legs because of his height. Not meaning to, like, just because he's upright. And got a serve, like handed a massive serve and realised that this guy doesn't need his legs.
Yeah, so the way that Haldor gets around is kind of like the reason he's such an effective smith is because he can put himself right on the anvil. But he's really, really strong anyway because he gets around on his hands. So once he gets himself up approximate to the anvil, it is a thing of beauty watching this huge creature just bring the hammer down and like showers of sparks and everything everywhere. It's awesome. It's like watching a storm crash into the ocean straight. It's like force of nature level of stuff. But yeah, he would have backhanded you across the room if you said anything.
Oh yeah,
about,
and
like, to him about
Snesley,
stuff like
like
that.
And it wouldn't have been like intentional for Snesley. It just would have been. It would have been one of the few lessons he would have learned properly and easily.
Yeah, very quickly too, I would imagine.
Yeah. Oh yeah, hence why he's very reverent. It'd be reverential around
around Haldor, yeah.
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 And he is one of the reasons why he also won't walk into the shop very much because he has broken a few things in there, and every time it's been reminded, and it's like, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. He walks in only when asked to.
Only when he knows Haldor is not currently trying to work on something.
Yeah.
And when Haldor's wife Rosie is out the front because Rosie makes the best tea and cakes. But yeah, you basically get told to sit out there while everyone else goes and conducts business.
Yeah.
Okay, so moving on. Does anyone else have any questions, queries, points of interest, anything like that?
Yes.
And Cordy? Yeah.
I'm thinking on matters of religion. I'm not expecting there to be a chapel to the diaspora and so on, but there is a cathedral here. I would love to know which gods are venerated here,
so,
how they deal with religion. And
okay, so generally the way that the cathedral works here is it's kind of a non-denominational cathedral. So it's basically, the reason that it works so well within Ludus is because it caters to any and all gods, because the space that it is, it's what you would call hallowed ground. Most religions and most like interactions with the divine need to happen on hallowed ground. So that's basically all this cathedral is. It's a non-denominational sort of like holy space that's, oh my god, cat, please. Yeah, so non-denominational holy space that people are encouraged to sort of do their own religious rites and that sort of thing with. They do have a staff there. They aren't necessarily under any cohesive religious banner, but there is a small subsection of religious texts that are kept there because the conditions in the chantry basement are far more conducive to ensuring the survival of old books than they are in the other library. It's basically like a temperature controlled room downstairs.
Nice. Oh god, yeah. Somebody may have to go in there for me. I don't know if I can cover my entire body in a small white cotton glove.
Yeah.
I suspect I'm... Yeah.
I can go in for you. In fact, I have a feeling that if we've been here for a couple of years studying, we would have already set up some sort of arrangement.
That would be very helpful.
It was not Snesley.
I don't want to do whatever the opposite of fumigating the crypt is.
I feel like okay, roll a history check for me, please. Cordy.
Very well, Mom. Let me the thing that is not the thing to me. Come on to me. Sorry, Mike. She's taking 50 million years. Here
That's okay.
Go. History check. Oh, history's not my strong suit, but I will roll it nonetheless.
Okay, that's still pretty good. That's a 15. Okay, so basically you sat outside the cathedral once you first figured out that there were rare books down there that had to be kept in a special temperature-controlled room, and you, being an incorrigible knowledge louse, were desperate to get in there, until one of the staff there took pity on you and basically invited you to sit in the belfry behind a panel of behind a panel of force, essentially, and the and the staff member would take the book that you wanted to see in their white cotton robes and their white gloves and their full face mask and everything like that, and turn the pages for you so you could read the book.
I feel like this is the kind of thing that a sending spell would be ideal for, so you can just display what's on the page.
They would have done sending, but the issue is quite a lot of the staffers who work in the cathedral aren't necessarily arcanically minded. So what they did essentially was they rigged up two force sprites, one on either side of the room, and they go in one side and you go in the other, and because there's a wall of force in between you, your thunk can't really interact with the rest of it too much.
Not thunk, it's just spores. I just don't want the mushrooms to grow on their nice books. God, everyone's just... I don't smell bad. Unless you hate mushrooms.
Oh, I don't hate mushrooms at all. I think they're delicious, but
Beautiful autumn leaf piles. That's what I smell like.
Yes. But yeah, so after you explained to the staffer your concerns regarding these rare books, you do charm them enough, and because they take it, they may or may not have a soft spot for birds. That's why they like going to the belfry. They organise those for you.
That's wonderful.
All right.
Fantastic.
Anybody else?
I think Tovull would try to make conversation with Harold. I have a funny feeling Tovull would try and make fun of Harold's knowledge of the Fae, and then be surprised at how accurate some of the stuff is in there, and go, hang on a second, you've actually got this right. Oh, what? Who are you, Sorcerers? How did you get there?
Harold's like, I don't know, I don't remember. Forgive an old man his foibles, and toddles off somewhere else.
And Tovull would be incessant. He would just follow Harold around and be the annoying kid, younger brother energy going on.
Sandy, what I'm going to get you to do, champion, is I want you to roll a persuasion check for me, please.
Oh, perfect.
I was thinking I probably spent some time with Harold as well, and that's maybe how I know Tovull a bit better.
Yeah.
I do believe I dragged him along with us the first time.
All right, great. Yeah, I'm not being too harsh on the DCs for this. Okay, so basically, Harold, before you even really realize it, Harold is getting you to do things for him in the scope of his job. He's getting you to take books up and down stacks so he doesn't have to go up the stairs. He's teaching you little tricks about mage hand and how to really maximize the efficiency of it. And he does occasionally, he drops like fat tidbits of like extremely accurate Feywild knowledge, which sort of like for a moment it's like, oh, wait, no, that's right. How do you know that? What are you? And Harold's like, but yeah, like you do spend quite a lot of time with them, and you do with your 15, you do get the sense that like because you're helpful and you're curious, and you seem to have a bit of a wealth of knowledge yourself that he may want to get in touch with. You feel like maybe he is warming to you a little bit, but that may be because of Thea's influence, because Thea fusses over him because he's a very old man, and like. Would that be something that Thea would do, Danielle?
She'd fuss in the way that you fuss over your favourite granddad.
That's exactly what I'm getting at. Yeah, so it'd be like, just sit down. I've made you tea. Let me take care of this. Let me lift this heavy thing for you.
She's got her own store of, maybe not the wealth of knowledge that he does with all of his Fae stories, or whatever. But growing up in the monastery and the upbringing that she had with all of the family knowledge about all the ancient stories about why their sect was started in the first place and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
And you're on an island, there's not much to do of an evening. So, there's all these stories and stuff that are around. So she'd swap stories with them and tell them jokes. And
what I'm going to get you to do for me, Danielle, I'm going to get you to roll, this would probably be... Hold on, where are you? Sorry, my cat is like on my keyboard and making it really difficult for it. Like she's right here. Like,
right.
You've been away all day. You've been away all day, Mum. Mum, you've been away all day. And see me, pet me.
Yeah, it's literally what's happening right now. Okay, so if I go, let's have a look at your character sheet. Because I don't want to make this difficult for you, but I want you to be. Yeah. Okay, so this is going to be a religion check for me, please.
Okay. Where is my sheet? Did you even open my sheet? One moment, please, caller. We're just loading up here. Do it properly. Religion, did you say?
Yes, please.
Religion. This goes there.
Okay, that's an 11. Alright, so I think you managed to, because you're spending so much time with Tovull, you're gleaning quite a lot of information about maybe a little bit of Tovull's background, but you're having a little bit of a rough time really feeling like you're connecting with Harold, maybe on a level that isn't necessarily like obvious. It's just Thea's own feelings about the situation. But there is one day, it's a sunny afternoon, and Harold is kind of drifting off in a very large, comfortable armchair in front of a sunbeam, and you're sort of like putting books away. And as you do so, with your 11, there is a very slim volume bound in blue leather that you pull out, and you exclaim in joy and recognition because you recognize your own grandfather's name as the author.
Oh.
And what it is, it's a small volume of martial arts techniques. It looks to be some sort of volume of like a breathing technique to sort of still yourself and slow yourself down so you're able to like regain your ki and fight effectively and that sort of thing. And as you exclaim with this, what do you say to wake Harold up from his doze in the sunbeam in the afternoon? Now that I've given you the context, what would Thea say and do here? We're just going to do a little bit of role play.
Oh, shit. Would I have known that he would have had any of these books? This is like a complete surprise.
Well, you know that there would have been manuals written somewhere and left at the monastery for like training manual purposes, right? So that it would be something that you'd get given.
Yeah, but I've never seen this one. I've never seen this one before.
It's certainly not in a place you were expecting it. Like, you're a long way from home. You weren't expecting to see something like this in like a random spot in the Ludus library. So
it would be like, Harold, wake up. What are you? Sorry, mate.
Sorry, mate. It's all right, darling. Please
so
forgive an old man his foibles. What have you found?
You and your foibles. Anyway, what are you doing with Granddad Rex's book? this is like I've not seen one outside in the monastery ever, and I don't even know if I've ever seen this copy. It's like one of the
As he
originals.
heaves himself up out of his cozy armchair and he totters over to you, his bald pate is like gleaming in the sunlight, and he totters over and he extends his hand for the book. Do you let him take it?
Yeah.
Okay. He takes the book from you and he thumbs through it with his gnarled old hands and he says, "Oh yes, I forgot I had this. Grandpa Rex, you say? You're a relation to the author."
Yes, he's my grandfather.
Wow, this is a fine piece of literature, this one. This one is the Genki monk way of water breathing. I'm sure you know it already. It's one of the very first written iterations of the way that, how do you say? Those who can attune to their own bodies in such a way that they can regain their ki through a breathing technique flowing like water.
Do I have my cloak at this point already?
Your cloak of mentor, right? Yeah, you would.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't know there was an actual... Can you do it without equipment? Like, I've got my cloak?
Yeah, so this thing that he's talking about here, roll an insight check.
Oh shit, hang on. I almost went to pick up real dice then.
You can roll real dice if you want, I don't mind.
No, I've got to lean over to the other side of the bed for that. Dun, dun, dun. I'll take that.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, nice, with a 20. Okay, with a 20, you recognise that what he means here is the monk technique stillness of mind.
Oh, okay.
Which is in your class list already, which is you can use your action to end one effect on yourself that is causing you to be charmed or frightened. Essentially, what this little book is describing is the breathing technique that you would use to still yourself, to prevent something from negatively affecting you, to remove the charmed or frightened conditions. So that's what the stillness of mind is, like the flow of breathing. But as you're sort of remembering this, Harold sort of coughs and he says, "I don't know if that's the most recent edition. It seems to have an awful lot of things in here about water, and I don't know if that's accurate." Is that accurate? Is that still something that you practice at home?
It's not common. Do you mind if I borrow this for a little bit? I wouldn't mind studying it a little bit more.
Oh, of course, by all means. And he hands the volume back to you. And as he does so, he says, "Just don't forget to check it out now. I don't want to come chasing you for fines."
I'm not going to. It's like, oh, I'd like to see you try. But, no. But yes, no, of course I'll check it out. I have highest respect for the process and administration of the library.
He flaps his hand at you and he laughs and he says, "I know you do, dear. I'm just yanking on your chain."
And I hug it tight and I put it in my...
Okay, sweet.
And I will definitely be reading that one.
Fantastic.
Awesome.
Okay.
And then I put him back in his chair so he can go
Yeah, so you go back to putting away books and he sort of like curls back up in his chair with a very serious expression on. He puts on his pince nez and like unfurls a very heavy book of maps of some description. But within maybe 2 to 3 minutes, you hear a soft snoring as the pages in front of his face move gently as he's breathing in and out.
Yeah, and as I leave, I'll just make sure he's comfortable and not going to suffocate on the book and maybe put his like blanket around him and, and then just sneak out quietly.
Nice, that's good. That's sweet. I like that. Okay, moving on. Who would like to go next for their own little slice of Ludus?
I was just going to say I probably know the herbalist quite well as well.
Yep. So you and Eleanor and Ophelia probably spend quite a lot of time together. Given that you come and see Eleanor nearly every day with a brand new bruise, and she has started making notes about your healing process and can tell from several yards away how you hurt yourself and when, given the color of your bruising and your swelling.
Yeah.
I'm not going to make you roll for that. She would know already.
Yeah, and she tries out all the new salves and whatnot for me as well.
Yeah, and Ophelia always comes over and is like, "Is this one going to work?" And she hands you these really pungent, like Tiger Balm. and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like shit. Like
Yeah.
Ophelia will hand you those, and Ellen is just like, "Don't put that on you. It will burn your skin off. Like, don't do it."
It's the eyes and
Yeah, avoid your eyes and your genitals after you rub this into your skin. And Ophelia's like, "What do you mean? It's fine." She's a tiefling, so the burning doesn't count.
no.
Okay, so
I'm sure at some point too that is probably snuck up behind Snesley just to see exactly how bad it is in strength because she's
Oh yeah,
tiny and
you're
big.
my
And we're probably
sister.
also it's probably you and I have sparred, so Snesley and Thea probably sparred a bit. That's probably the bruises are coming from. So
yeah. It's not often. It's not often when you manage to land a strike on Thea, but when you do, it sends her flying, probably quite a way because she's not very big,
Like, teeny tiny.
teeny tiny.
And then
she is.
opposite
Yeah,
side of the way,
she's
I believe, like,
Sorry,
I believe,
you.
like,
Yeah,
Tovull
you
would
go,
have-
Sandy.
I don't believe like Tovull would have seen Eleanor all that much because he just heals himself up
Yeah.
if he ever does fire.
Yeah.
And
However-
whenever he sees Eleanor, it's just like,
Yeah.
"Oh."
However, yourself and Ophelia manage to run into each other quite often because Ophelia is an absolute shocker for using up all of her spell slots without even realizing it. She just like will cast herself silly. Yeah, so she'll cast herself silly. So I think Ophelia and yourself, Tovull, have probably spent quite a lot of time in Hulda's front room being looked after by Rosie because she makes fantastic tea cakes and they do certainly put the strength back in a spellcaster. All right, what about yourself, Rhys? What would Jar of Dice be doing the most during his spare time in Ludus?
Given my background,
Mm-hmm.
I suspect he'll be hanging out somewhere by himself.
Yeah.
I was thinking very gothish, hanging out at the graveyard.
So you just sort of like make yourself useful at the cathedral.
Yeah, I mean, because
There are the most fantastic boletes near the second cluster of large gravestones. See the birch trees there? Top notch.
I sort of get this. I've got this feeling that Jar is more comfortable around the dead than around the living.
Yeah, because quite often the dead don't want anything from you. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And you know, as I said, giving his history. So yeah, he just hangs out with at the graveyard and just, you know, and when people aren't talking to him, he'll be talking to the dead.
Can I get you to roll, please, for me? Hang on, let me double check something in your character sheet real quick. Can I get you to please roll? This will just be a straight up perception check for me, I think.
Yes. Yes, things.
Okay. Okay, yeah, that's really good. All right, so let me set the scene for you a little bit. You are, after spending quite a lot of time sort of like on the fringes of the cathedral, like you know in here generally it's kind of like the makeshift hospital. Or it is really the hospital of Ludus. Like it's right between the castle and the town hall. And you know, it's a little bit away from the market and the library, but this is generally where people come to if they're sick or hurt or need help in some description. They'll come to the cathedral. So generally, I feel like maybe Jar's been hanging out sort of like on the periphery, helping out where he can with some of the medical stuff. Because you know, you got a very dexterous pair of hands, and you know, you're pretty good at removing sharp things from flesh without doing any further damage, and that's generally what they ask you to do. After they knock the patient out, of course, so you don't have to talk to them. But yeah, I feel like you do spend quite a lot of time in the graveyard, and then before you really know it, you sort of take to tidying it up a little bit. So after spending so much time with the dead here and talking to them, you realize that given all the stuff that's going on constantly, given that Ludus is a city of industry, not many people come through here unless they've got a person in their family who's recently passed away. You know, you've got all these, in the old section of the graveyard, you've got these really ancient stones and memorials and various different things for people who passed away a really, really long time ago, but there are still like echoes of them here, right? So you take to starting to tidy them up a little bit. You know, you're pulling the ivy off them, you're polishing them up a little, you're chatting as much as you can to the echoes of these people who remain, learning little tidbits about the history of Ludus and what they learned being alive here. I will send you some information, Rhys, because this is going to be something that only you know, and it's up to you if you want to share it with the party. Let me do that now, actually, before I totally forget. So yeah, like as the longer you spent, this is why I wanted you to roll a perception check. So it was a matter of like how well you can glean pieces of information from these echoes of people, right? So given that you rolled a 20, I'm going to send you can roll as many times as you like, but I'm going to send you a pocket of information for each roll that you get. So I'm going to send you the first one now. And this is when you were talking to a person who maybe didn't necessarily die of old age. And in the discussions about their death, you find out this piece of information.
I so want to know.
It's entirely up to him if he wants to share.
I'm so curious.
If you'd like to uncover another pocket, by all means, please roll a d20. It's the only reason I'm sending this to you in secret is because you're the only one who can talk to the dead. You're the only one who can actually glean these pieces of information and put them together in context with other things that you learn from spending all your time in the graveyard because you're a big old goth. So, I love how like we could do an edgy backstory, but let's do something else instead.
Other people's edgy backstories. It's even better.
Yeah, he's not even got his own edgy backstory. That's the edgiest backstory of all.
Yeah, I think I'll roll another one.
Okay, roll that d20, baby. Oh, no dice. You cannot make sense of the garbled pieces of information. Like, you're told quite a lot of things, but you can't quite piece together the threads that would make it make sense. Now, given what you know about the first one, there are ways and avenues that you could learn more about it, but you might need to talk to your party before you move through into anything else. Although, roll me one more d20 just to see if I can give you one more little bit.
Wait, how many cats in the chat are there?
At
least 3.
Yeah, there's at least 3 cats. We've all got cats, except for Danielle, I think. Okay.
I new fish last week. Very exciting. They don't meow though. Not quite the same.
Okay, so because you rolled another 20, that's a nice high DC, so that is going to give you another very clear piece of information. And with your 10, you get a little piece of something. So with your 10, you get a name, but you get no information. But with the 20, you get the whole shebang.
Ooh.
Okay, I'm gonna pop to the bathroom. I'll be back.
Intriguing.
Yes. Rat bag.
We're not ever gonna know, are we, Rhys?
Okay.
I don't know.
I'm just half wondering if it's.
Let
Yeah,
us
I
know
wonder
when
how it
the
leads
time
into.
is right.
Us. But, yeah.
Find me this important with secrets.
Yes.
I mean, currently, I don't see much need to share this information with the rest of the party because it doesn't have much importance in my mind. Aha. Number 4.
What a fluffy beast. Oh, more cats!
Oh,
So
just
many
rubbing it in the
cats!
face
It's a
now.
Dennis. This is the Dinglefloof.
If my
Hello,
flight alarm kept,
Dinglefloof.
I definitely have one.
I mean, she's real name's Peaches, but yeah, she's just a complete Dinglefloof because she's not bright and fluffy.
I've got a monkey soft toy. That's about all I can offer.
Yes, cuddle the cat. We all cuddle the.
Yeah, my cat's. Of course, now my cat's like, I want nothing to do with you. She's right there, like right there.
Yeah.
We're all just
Like,
rubbing
no,
it in
no.
my face.
Go on, get
I mean,
out.
I've
Yes.
trying to do timesheets as well while I'm doing this.
Oh,
and it's like, she sign off on the tablet, so she was trying to sign off on the tablet.
so
I'm like, yeah,
many
I don't use this
cats.
one. Hey, look, see, there's other catty cats. She's like, I don't care. Like,
Oh, yeah, I don't
can't tell.
freaking care about any of that. Okay, so
Stop returns.
cat cam.
No.
Okay, we could totally have to have a game where the
Okay.
cats are in control.
Yeah, or we all just make tabaxis that are our cats and
I
run that.
really want to.
That
And that
literally
was
is
last
every
year.
Tabaxi character I play.
Yeah, yeah.
I want to be a tabaxi fairy. Because the image I have in my head is, I don't know if any of you are familiar with Gabby's dollhouse, but there is there's a little fairy in there, kitty fairy is in there, and I want to be her, like as a rogue or something.
That would be very fun.
She's got a little tutu and a little crown and stuff, and I want to be that. That's something really kick-ass.
That's
so
adorable.
I was
I
very
love it.
disappointed when I couldn't be a tabaxi fairy.
Our
That's
other cat
okay.
avoids me. So,
Fine.
That's
the
okay.
other cat will never come visit me while I'm doing this.
Sorry, I
So.
stuck my finger in your ear.
Okay, so moving on. Who would like to do any more exploration or any more delving deep into certain parts of Ludus? Cordy, what would you like to do?
I have been thinking about knowledge in its many forms.
Mm-hmm.
And I was also been
Very
thinking
deep.
about Timotheos's like first kind of meanderings into the city.
Mhm.
I suspect he would have been rather enthralled by the port district.
Yes.
I also think that Timotheos is probably quite the gustatory explorer and enjoys his food. So I was thinking
Okay.
maybe there's a little deal. Is there a soup kitchen or some other sort of interesting food place down at the docks? Because I reckon I might cook up some meals and try and trade a shaggy dog story for a free meal as part of my priestly duties.
Mm-hmm.
That way I can gather knowledge
Yeah.
and feed the
Mushroom soup.
hungry. No,
Mushroom
Um,
risottos and mushroom soups.
I
Yeah.
cook
Mushrooms on
many
toast.
things.
Yeah.
I cook many things, not just mushrooms. Come on.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Well, the singing
Truffles.
the
Use
singing
a lot of
scale
truffles.
the singing scale is like the biggest like pub in the dock area. But yeah, there are a couple of like, I don't want to call them slop houses because they're not really slop houses, but they're more just like if you come off the boat and you aren't quite compos mentis or in a good position or anything like that, there are several like itinerant travel.
Halfway house type things.
Yeah, kind of. Where it's basically like,
Backpackers, seedy backpackers.
yeah, seedy sort of hostel places where like, but in both forms of the word. But yeah, so generally, like, that's the kind of place you'd go to if you were catching another boat further upriver, or if you were maybe like coming downriver and needed to stop in for a meeting of some sort in Ludus before you carried on down to the estuary. Because of where Ludus is, it's a pretty integral part of the inland sea trade. So there's several like other merchants that you guys will meet further down the track, who I will add to this brochure further down, who are part of the Shipmen's Guild. So they operate underneath the instruction of Captain Roderick, But again, he doesn't really go out on boats that much anymore. He's got more of a desk job than anything else. So there are several, like there's guild ships, merchant ships, like little skiffs that do runs up and down to the various villages and that sort of thing. And then there's the big sort of like Arcana steamers which go up and down the river, taking people up to Mount Custos and out to the estuary.
It sounds like an ideal place for me to basically go and get some gossip and or
yes,
help
it
out
is.
souls in need.
It is.
That's probably
It's a
my
great
hobby.
place to. It's a great place to sort of sit and watch, or be helpful for the right people. You know.
Oh, I definitely want to take an active role in that. You know, I'm not one to snoop. I'm an honest broker where it comes to these things. But you know, a social contract is kind of implied. So yes, I probably feed people or do other fun things. Like there was this kid that one time they wanted to have pets, so I tried like casting Find Familiar, and they got a dirty great big seagull. But then they decided they like the seagull. His mum hates me, but he loves me.
All
you
right.
know.
Yeah. Okay. If that's the case, I'm gonna get you to roll a charisma check then.
Oh no! Charisma! I'm not good at charisma at all. Oh god. Okay, fine. Why
So
can't
it
it be wisdom?
It's a
20!
nat. It is a nat
Oh, nice.
20.
Nice.
This is canonically
Happy.
Timotheus is known around the docks as the Crow. And this, and the spot where people go to if they want like a decent hearty meal that's not fish, they will go to the Crow's Nest, which is a
Nice.
small section. It's kind of like so at the Singing Scale, there's like it's an old building that's been repurposed for many different things. But at the top of it, because the Singing Scale is like right at the edge, so if you look at this map of Ludus, actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a new map just for the docks area, just so I can sort of explain to you how this sort of situation works, because there's a lighthouse, like an old disused lighthouse, that the Arcanus stone at the top doesn't work anymore, so it basically like it exploded and blasted out the guts of this lighthouse, so now it's basically just like a roof, an open space, and then that pillar with all the stairs and stuff going up. No one was using it. It's owned by the same people who own the Singing Scale, and when they saw you hanging around like being helpful and talking to people and directing them and like giving them a hand if they needed it and that sort of thing, this is what a bloody nat 20 will give you, Cordy, by the way.
Your
I'm
established.
like, and then my wings are also like,
yeah, so the proprietors of the Singing Scale, who I will add to the brochure later, they saw you being helpful and they were like, this bird is excellent, but we can't have all of these roustabout types hanging out in front of the Singing Scale all the time because it's bad for business. But here's this other building that we own. Do you think you can make something out of it? Because we're not going to use it, and otherwise it's just going to get knocked down. So do you want to take this lighthouse? And you did,
Hell yeah.
and it became the Crow's Nest,
nice.
where it's a mess. It is not a tidy place. It's not dirty. It's just not tidy. But the beds and the bunks are comfortable enough to sleep in, and you know that there's at least a fantastic bowl of mushroom risotto at the end of the day if you need to get in and like have something hot to eat after coming off the boat. And because it's so high up, it's really, really easy to see because the Singing Scale proprietors insisted on painting the roof like black, like Vanta black. So rather than being a lighthouse, it is the opposite of a lighthouse. It's a
dark house.
It's a dark house. It's a dark house,
Nice.
and they call it the Crow's Nest, and that's where Timotheus administers his care and aid from.
They have a wizard's tower.
You
of
have
my
a wizard's
very
tower.
own. Some assembly
Kind
required.
of. Some assembly required. But that is what a nat 20 has given you. Congratulations, you have your own building.
Yay.
And this is probably where the rest of the party could find Timotheus if he's not in the library. Although, for some reason, canonically in my head, I feel like Timotheus didn't study with the rest of them. He was there more as a teacher or a teacher's aide rather than a student. Is that a correct assumption that I'm making? Because that's kind of just what I feel about Timotheus. He's a very capable adventurer, but I feel like he didn't necessarily come up in the ranks like the rest of the party did.
Yeah, I feel like he wanted to be like a postgraduate student, and then they're like, we don't really do that. And then he said, what's that? Oh, that's a training ground. Training ground? and say, who are those interesting people? And sort of got waylaid as he does and into becoming an adventurer, because that's an experience, you know.
Yeah.
The gods try to speak to us, and we have to be open to their suggestions. And this was clearly a strong
This is clearly something that
yeah.
Or maybe
So
one of the party got in trouble down at one of the docks and they got directed to the dark house and you met them there and then they were like, well, we're going back to the library, and you're like, why?
Library,
What?
you say?
Library? Yeah.
So, you know,
Yeah, maybe-
Snesley that got in
maybe-
trouble and ended up down there, right?
Oh yeah, Snesley's probably ended up there
He
massively.
doesn't know where the library is.
It's
Oh.
great. I mean, this is one of the few places
Boys.
you cannot make more messed up or cluttered, because it's already
It's
so
already like
you
that.
can have a rager in there. It's not going to make a difference.
Yeah.
It's probably Sneezy probably said something about the library going in there because he's like, oh, somewhere that's like they keep kicking me out of this thing called the library, and
All we
this
came
is
looking
good,
for.
and I'm happy with this.
I've got this mental image that like
Learning isn't
that,
right
like,
for all. We're marching
like-
you straight back there, young man.
the dark house is like
Oh,
the
I came
off-campus
around
party college house.
No.
So
Like the
Sneezy lives there,
the
basically,
off-campus
half the
frat
time.
house is the dark house, or the crow's
I think-
nest.
I might have
Sneezy's
come and
hiding
found
somewhere
him
on the
down
roof. He's up there.
mentioned the library and went, oh, but I'm coming back here because this looks like fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
mostly because like
They
the
all ended
people
up
who
there.
wash up at the crow's nest, I feel like they're not necessarily bad people. They've just had a bad stretch of luck, or the gods haven't been kind to them when they've made
Yeah.
their decisions.
I'm a pretty
of
good
thing.
judge of character.
Yeah.
I do have an insight of +6, so if somebody's
Yeah.
a real bad egg, like, I'll know.
Yeah.
These people aren't bad eggs. They're just like, they just need a hand.
Yeah, they're a little down on their luck. So you send them up to the dark house, which sounds really scary and horrible, but then there's a very friendly, hospitable bird person waiting for you there with a bowl of mushroom risotto and a comfy bed that seems to have feathers in it for some reason. Yeah, it's a feather bed.
It's great, the pillows are always plump because
Yeah. Gross. Gross. Not that Timotheus is gross, just that, like the mental image of like you plucking out your own chest hair and then shoving it into a pillow to make it like plump.
Ooh,
Like covered in mushrooms too.
Yeah.
yeah, there may be some. It's okay because like all of the different molds kind of cancel each other out.
Yeah, to become the uber mold. But the uber mold, strangely enough, is fantastic insulation. Mycelium really keep out the elements.
I suspect every so often I just have to do a few firebolts just to kind of keep it all out of the kitchen. But
Yeah, keep it away from where you prepare food. But yeah, so that's sort of
you got to feed them good strains and like
Yeah.
mix the bad strains.
yeah. So that's what you get with a Nat 20. You get your own little post-grad college party frat house.
Dive bar.
Dive bar.
I need dive bar mode. Awesome.
Yeah.
Love it.
Awesome.
All right. Who else would like to take another crack? Is there anything else you'd like to explore or like to know or help me world build?
I think Snesley, after the last, having come back from the last one, his little episode of Doors, he's decided that perhaps the sword's not the greatest thing for him. It's not good for opening doors. He needs something that he can knock doors with.
Oh.
He'd actually like to, because he wants to see if he can convince Harold to if he can make him a hammer, a big heavy hammer. He kind of wants something that can
Okay.
knock things over, like instead
Okay.
of like he cut things, but he wants a hammer instead.
Yeah. You want to be the bash boy. You don't want to be the slice boy.
Yeah. It's not. I have these problems. These wooden things. It gets in my way, but and these swords just not do as much to it.
Blunt force trauma.
Yes. This
Okay.
Oh, actually, I think this. You do know that is going to be the name of BFT. It's now going to be the name.
Yeah.
It's now going to be the name of whatever.
Yeah.
don't
Everyone,
know.
It's now going to be the name of
Kind of
everything.
sounds like a sandwich.
Yeah.
BFT.
Yeah, we call it the Ever Key, but Snesley calls it the
BFT. That's the bacon, fungus, and tomato sandwich. That's your.
Is that the theme now? BFT. So we've got blunt force trauma, bacon, fungus, and tomato. Who else is a BFT related situation? I'm so glad I'm recording this.
Am I gonna have to rename my frying pan?
No, your frying pan's good, but what else would Thea do that maybe has BFT?
Big fate trouble.
Yeah. Or big
foot trouble. Big feet trouble.
Yeah, or
big
feet trouble. How about you could do big flip time?
That sounds more like a Snesley move, to be honest.
Actually, yeah, you're right. It does.
He just flips everything. It flips this thing over.
Yeah, I flip it over. Can I flip it over?
Flip myself over.
Yeah, can I get you to roll? Can I get you to roll a do a flip check?
I can have a move.
Yeah, I could try that. Should I just try an acrobatics check just to see if we can do a flip?
Roll your dice, man. Roll your dice. Danielle, what were you asking?
I haven't riled anything, so I want to do this.
I was thinking, what about if it's a move that I make, I was thinking, was it BFT? So bash, flip, twist, or something. But I don't know if you do it in that order. But I'm gonna pull out the BFT.
You could just do it backflip time.
Backflip time.
Yeah,
Snesley
like it feels very hammer time to me.
Yeah, Snesley, you cannot do a flip. I am sorry.
The worm Snesley landed on his back.
I tried to teach him. It's just not working.
Yeah, it's trying. It's not happening. What about you, Rhys? What would Jar of Dice's BFT be?
I don't know.
Think about it. We'll come back to it because we're gonna have to I would love to do this if it would be like a donation mechanic where it's roll for BFT. And whatever it lands on. What is BFT? Ah, well.
Depends on who you are.
What did we have? Bacon fry? Was it bacon?
We had bacon, fungus, tomato, blunt force trauma.
I think Cordy said big fade time.
Big fade trouble.
Big fade trouble.
Yeah.
Berserk Feral Tarrasque!
What? How did you know my nickname back in the day?
Yeah. Yeah.
How do you remember back in the day? You don't have any memory.
We could have BFT breakfast time.
Sounds like something I would call myself.
Mm.
Others would call me.
Yeah. Burly, foolish troubadour.
That almost sounds like a resident fighter.
Yeah. Yeah.
What was the hammer going to be? What was the hammer going to be?
Blunt force trauma. Yeah.
Well, everyone else calls it, as we say, everyone else calls it the Ever Key.
Yeah, but the name that Hulda gave it was the Ever Key because
the name we gave it.
The name you gave it.
Yeah, Sneezy gives it called blunt force trauma.
Blunt force trauma.
Ever Key is great.
I will add. I'm going to add a plus. I'm going to remove the great.
So get rid of the great sword of wounding, and then
more +2.
Yeah, do +2 more, and then it's called the Ever Key.
The Mall of Greater Knock.
Yeah,
Greater Knock.
The Mall of Greater Knocking.
I cast knock.
Yeah.
Sneezy casts knock.
Okay, roll to hit. So yeah, when you cast knock, it's just a strength check at advantage to see how much of a hole you put in the door.
Yeah.
Can you do that? Is that a thing?
We can do that now. That's canon, baby.
Yeah.
You get one free cast of knock per long rest.
Before she forgets and takes it back.
Yeah, I mean I am recording this, but yeah, no, you get one free cast of knock.
Oh, so it's definitely canon because it's recorded for you.
Yeah.
Yes, for
so
sure.
that's one free cast of knock, but you cannot use it in combat. It's only an out of combat thing.
Only to open the door.
Or to punch a hole in something, just not, and you can't. Yeah, so you can't use it in combat, and you get one free cast of knock with your Ever Key, which is canonically blunt force trauma to the thing that you are knocking. I am the one who knocks. Boosh.
And actually, might mean now that I will Yeah, it might even make it easier to hit things.
Oh yeah.
But it needs much. All right, now let's see if I can custom name it in my weapon sheet. I'm gonna have to change it on roll 20 as well, I think.
Yeah. So yeah, have a little jokey fun thing about what you guys want your BFT to be, because I feel like that could be something really funny that we could use as a deep six memes. We've got bees, fairies, and terrible trouble.
Blinging fancy tiara.
Flinging fancy tiara.
Oh dear. Okay.
Brilliant, fiery teenagers.
Hey, I'm not a teenager. What's it? Well, that's actually one thing. I've been trying to figure out why Thea would be at the school, because technically I'm like 80 something. I mean, it is in halfling years.
Yeah, 80 in halfling years is
still
like
older,
like
it's still
15
older
or 16 in human years.
I thought it was older than that.
Oh no, because Bilbo's 11th birthday and he's old as balls.
Well, it said that halflings live to. It said midway through your 2nd century, so I don't know whether it meant 250 or 150.
Well, your 2nd century would start, and then being midway through it would mean that like
I thought 250.
250,
well,
yeah. So you're
divide by
approximately like
4.
So it'd be like 60 would be, because that's 200. We'll say like 240. We'll call it for the edge, because then you can divide that by 4 into 6.
My result is undefined. 240. Oh, hello. Someone's turned off my number lock. Somebody's been playing with my computer. Divide by 4. Yeah, so that would be quarter of the way through. So that'd be 60. So I'm 85, or 83 rather.
So you'd be like in your early 20s or the equivalent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm slightly older. Yes, I'm slightly older than everybody else. So I'm wondering whether I came back for some extra, like I got sent here for some extra training that they didn't have, maybe.
Yeah.
Some specific adventure training that they didn't have to see more of the world.
Rumspringer, but for monks.
Yeah. for extra training, essentially.
Yeah. Training.
An exchange program for different.
Yours could be better field training.
Yeah, I'm gonna wing chun this.
Yeah.
Wing chun this bitch. Yeah.
That's
Wait,
right.
is
No,
everybody-
just...
Yeah. I was like, but we're all sort of adults, aren't we? I don't know.
Except for
Well,
Tovull.
Tovull's
Tovull's like a
young.
Tovull's a youngin.
Like how young
I'm
is
30.
Tovull?
I'm 30, which is fairly advanced for an Aarakocra. Like, we don't customarily live for vast amounts of time. Yeah,
Tovull's odd because Tovull is old, but he doesn't quite remember his age. But
He's old physically, but young in the world, if that makes sense. Like he hasn't spent much time here.
Yeah.
Oh,
He understands
Hey,
fully
right.
perfectly, but the second he steps into the mortal world, he's like, nah, I have no idea what's going on anymore.
What is this feeling? Is it hungry? What is this feeling? Is it sleepy?
What
Yeah,
is this
so-
feeling? Is it puberty?
I know.
Yeah, is it puberty?
Puberty?
And it's Sandy's character. It's very, very young.
Yeah, that's Tovull we're talking about. So he's not necessarily
No,
like
sorry.
Steffi's. Yeah, so I think Steffi's Gerald is he's a very young ranger looking for wairua for various different things. I think out of all of you, I think Gerald is the youngest.
Like he's meant to be actually young.
Yeah, because Bazton is like party dad.
Snesley looks youngish, but is actually old.
Snesley is party uncle. Snesley's fun uncle.
Yeah, Snesley's fun.
The uncle that turns up randomly, not when he says he was going to.
Yeah,
but
like
then maybe
2.5 hours earlier than he said he was going to, or 6 hours later. The's no in between.
6 days
Always
later.
brings
with
the
a bottle
fun
of beer.
things.
Yeah,
Brings the
brings
fun things.
like an entire like suckling roasted pig and a keg, but couldn't tell
Oh,
you
yeah.
where he got them. And he's 2 days late. But I'm
You
here with
sound a
food and
lot like-
drink.
You actually sound like a lot of one of my actual uncles, who also is one of my favourite uncles. But yeah, never quite.
Yeah, I'm
he's
just
a
trying
musician.
to add. Actually, how do I add stuff onto my bloody character sheet?
If you like, I can do it for you. So it would be
Drag and drop. You drag it
Yeah.
from the compendium.
Oh,
which is the little icon with the eye.
Ah,
So yeah, Rhys, have you had a chance to think about that stuff that I sent you? Did you choose to share it with the party, or are you going to keep that under your
Well,
hat?
As I said after you left, at this point in time, I've got no reason to share it with the party. It's not something that I would have brought up in conversation or anything like that. It's just information I have. That's how I feel. I
Yeah.
haven't had any reason to bring it up.
No.
So.
No, save it till it's pertinent.
Yeah.
Keep us in suspense.
Well, I mean, you guys wouldn't even know that there was suspense. Like in game, you wouldn't even know that there was suspense to be had. It's just more now that Jar knows these things. When certain things become apparent, maybe Jar is going to be able to give you a little more insight to various different things than you would have had otherwise.
That sounds very cool.
This is why I like doing world building sessions like this, because I like tying you guys into stuff, bringing you here to the world I made you. Get in, loser! We're gonna go play D&D. All right, so
I
now
just
that
like that. Yeah, I just like that you gave me a cool clubhouse for me to do my dorky youth pastor nonsense.
yeah.
Oh, so it's totally
Hey,
the clubhouse.
fellow kids, have you got a moment to talk about our lord, the fungus, the mycelium man?
Yeah,
Hey!
I'm ready to take one for the team. You know how they say God is in all things? Well, my spores are.
Hey, you know how God's in all things? Have you heard about the mycelium theory? I might see you later. Ka-ching! I am a cursed human being, and I'm so sorry.
So I'm just teaching them about
Never apologize.
good morals.
Oh, are they going to be the champignons of your cause?
I've even renamed it Blunt Force Trauma. It's
Yeah,
a
good.
name out.
But make sure you put in brackets somewhere the nice fancy name that
Yeah.
yeah, the Everkey, because Holder didn't go through all of that horse caca to make it for you, especially after you trashed his shop. Or maybe what happened was you commissioned him to make this, and then you got so excited that you started swinging it around, and that's when you trashed his shop.
Yeah.
And he's like, get out, take your key, and don't let the door hit you where the good Lord split you, otherwise I will. And he comes like
You know,
bolting out
sometimes
after
they
you.
say when the
And,
Lord closes
like, I
the
was-
door, he opens a window. But in this case, well,
He put a hole
like
in
your own
both.
windows, can't you,
At
buddy?
which point, Sneeze, you'll just look and go, what door? It was probably the one thing, the first thing he hit was the door.
First thing you hit was the door, yeah.
No, everything but the door. The door's intact, and there's just
Oh,
holes.
yeah. That's even better.
Yeah.
This door's...
Oh.
This faulty.
Poor Haldor, he puts up with like so much. You can just see him standing there on his hands. He can't even like face palm. But like, yeah, he is he's not angry per se. He's just disappointed,
Disappointed.
which is worse.
He sees someone enjoying the weapon he created, but at the wrong place.
Yeah, preferably not inside his workshop,
Yeah.
if at all possible. Time and place. All right. So, would anyone else like to know anything else or do any more investigation? This is the perfect space to do it. It's good to see that one of us is taken up changing over arms and that sort of thing. So, would anyone else like to do the same thing? Because we are probably going to do like one more session like this before we actually kick off. I'm hoping to do at least maybe like one more short session like this, and then maybe we'll see how we go in terms of like warm-up games. But yeah, thoughts?
I'm hoping
Is there
to
anything range?
maybe change over one item, but yeah, I'm not sure what that change is going to look like.
That's okay. That's fine. Have a think about it and let me know, because I'm more than happy to be flexible around this sort of stuff with you guys. So
I mean, I'm just wondering if there's anything that's ranged. Cause the only thing ranged I've got really is my dart, and occasionally throwing my frying pan. I was just wondering if there's anything else that would be good for a monk that is range? I can't think of
What
anything.
if we swap your dart out for a sling?
Ooh, yes please. I like that idea.
Yeah, because it's a similar sort of mechanic. But
It's
I
still
feel like
small.
it's small, it's light, and it also is a dexterity-based weapon.
So
so
the
it's-
dart's not, is it? It's
Or I think for the monks, imagine a dart like a kunai, like a throwing knife.
yeah.
Like, you know, the little ones that are like a leaf shaped, like that. But
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
I feel like a sling could potentially work better for you anyway, just because it's something that, like, you know, you can have it tucked into your belt and pull it out and, like,
Yeah.
yeah.
I feel that would work better. So yes, if I could swap my dart out.
Yes,
that,
yes, you can. But what I will do with your sling is, I will give you an ammunition pouch. But because it's like it's a sling is a very simple weapon. Let me see if I can find it in Roll20.
Simple is what I like.
Yeah, here we go. Because your darts are just like, they're not +1 or +2 or anything like that, are they? They're just like standard base damage.
Yes, whatever. Yeah, no, they're not special or anything.
Because what I'm thinking is that, like, with you having a sling, I could give you opportunities for very limited magic ammunition. Which doesn't mean it's like a +1 or +2, but like, does that? Were you yawning or excited or like what?
No, I
I'm
was
sorry.
excited.
I was like,
I was excited. I was excited.
yeah, depending on, because this is something that I want to offer to you guys as well. Like, I want to give you guys opportunities to find things that give you brief bursts of power. Even if it's like for a very short time, or it's a very limited resource. But it's something that I found to be really effective and fun in the other campaigns that I've run, where it's like, you know, those classic like heroic moments kind of situation. I want to give you guys all an opportunity to do that. So Snesley has your knock.
Yep.
Which could be really, really helpful. I know it's a non-combat related thing, but if you guys need to get through from A to B and Snesley's got his ever key there.
Like, how many doors did you not manage to open in the last 2 or 3 camps?
All of them.
Every single one.
I did the classic, what could go wrong? I won't use reckless attack.
I don't need that.
And
that
then
seems
rolled
like
a nat
overkill.
1 and still missed it with the other rolls. It's like on the second
Because those
attack.
barrels
It's like,
that came down.
yeah, those barricades. It's like,
It is like,
oh god.
how are you not getting through these? My frying pan hit it.
Yeah. All right. So what I'm going to do, Thea, is I'm going to swap out your darts for a sling.
Thank you very much.
And yeah, I'm not going to give you any special ammo right now, so it's going to be very basic stuff. But if things go your way, there might be, I'm not saying there definitely will be, but there might be opportunities for, like, I don't know, oh my god, with a sling, you could get Timothy to, like, do a little mushroom bomb and put it in your sling and throw it.
It could
would
be
be
like the
amazing.
magic stone or something.
Yeah.
The version of magic stone or something.
I was looking at online ideas around cooking themed minor magic items, and it came up with Ramsay's remarkable pocket campfire, a small carved piece of wood that, when placed on the ground and cursed at, becomes a campfire.
You donkey!
What is this? What are you? An idiot sandwich? Yeah.
I mean, you can throw you make
Yep.
chips, like little wood chips or something, in like the shape of like little brown balls or something. And do that, like it does a little bit of
Yep.
fire damage or something.
Yeah.
You got to
Alright.
curse at it.
So your sling is now,
Pick up some bacon in my frying pan and hurl that. Is that a... Yeah. I know, that's just a delicious treat.
It's the bacon. That's the bacon flinging technique.
I was thinking the hot oil on the
BFT!
bacon or the hot fat on the bacon.
The bacon flinging technique. Yes.
yeah.
Exactly.
Bacon flinging technique. Bacon flinging technique. Then we've
Yeah,
got two
ammunition. You
bacon
can use a
things.
weapon that has the ammunition property to make a ranged attack only if you have ammunition to fire the weapon.
I'm assuming I'd have like a stash of basic.
Yeah, so you'd have it. Yeah, so
Like
you'd have a the way that we're going to do it is we're going to give you a basic we're going to give you a basic magazine, so to speak, and that which is basically going to be like it's equipped. Okay. So it's going to be like a basic sling. So you have a basic magazine of maybe like, what do you guys feel like is a fair amount of things to have in a sling pouch, given that, like, because it's basic ammunition, it's probably just like little pebbles and rocks. What do you guys feel is a fair amount?
Oh,
How
crap.
many is it flinging one at a time kind of situation?
One at a time, yeah.
I think maybe like 20 or 30.
Yeah, I was thinking
Yeah.
25, 30, somewhere around there.
How about we call it 25?
And it's easily replenishable because you can pick
Yeah.
up.
Yeah,
Yes.
so you get 25 and they refresh on a long rest, which was when you'd go around picking up little stones.
Yeah. And it's one little rock per thing, which will be one. So that count as one action because I get 2.
It would count as
attack.
one attack
Oh, so I could use
within
it
your
twice
attack
as
action.
a-
Yes.
And
But
then if I
what you
wanted to
so you
it
could do
again-
so if you wanted to use your sling twice, you can either load, fire, or you can load twice, fire once.
Okay. Yep. And then if I wanted to extend it, then I've got the radiant.
Yep.
We talked about the radiant spell, which gives me another 2.
Yep.
Long range attacks.
Yeah, I just feel like the dart thing doesn't quite like sit right with me for Taya anyway. I feel like she would be much more of like a improvised weapon. I've got a sling, I can fire anything at like
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, I picked it for some reason. I can't remember why.
I think
But
it's just
might have
because
already
it
been on
comes
there.
as standard.
Yeah, that might have been
It's
it. And
like
I kind of like the
Barbarian.
idea of it,
Ones.
but then it just didn't feel. It's never really felt right. So, no, I like the sling. It's much better. Yeah,
Yeah.
fits with running around on the beach and just
Yeah,
really
and like
good at it,
flinging
really
rocks
good.
and like skipping stones and stuff like that, right? Like
Mm.
that kind of
Yeah.
I like that.
And the improvised weapon part of it is very much, I think, the family wheelhouse of do
Yeah.
what you have to do with what you got around you.
Yep,
kind of
exactly.
situation.
Okay, no, that's great. I'm more than happy to swap that over for you. But yeah, as I say, it could lead to some fun opportunities in terms of
Yeah, and
you
the-
know,
the
like
part- the
doing
whole
some
party
fun
knows that-
stuff.
The whole party knows I've got the sling as well, so if they find interesting things, they can
Yeah.
chuck it at
You
me.
don't know what Sneezy you'll find.
I
probably
really
the
want to know
worst
what Sneezy's going to find.
Sneezy's gonna have to figure it out later on.
Yeah,
think
blunt
you're
force
right.
trauma, the ever key.
Yes.
Won't quite fit in the sling. Because in theory, I should be up in people's grill most of the time anyway. But I also know that when you're in a big group, like in that dungeon, down in the catacombs, I just couldn't get up on them.
Yeah.
So
Plus, it's
would've been
also
nice to have
you could
something
also
right.
like, especially when you're like trying to sneak up on someone, or you're wanting to do like a surprise round or something like that. Like having something
Yeah.
like that, because remember, with a sling, it doesn't necessarily have to be firing it at someone. Because when you're firing a stone or a projectile at something, you can point it far away and then draw their attention there while you guys do something else, depending on your roles. Right? It's about making you guys think about the environment that you're in and how, not necessarily just to use your spells and weapons and stuff just for like straight up attacks, but I want to see creativity because I know each and every single one of you has it. I want you to show it to me. I freaking love it. It makes me so excited and happy when I see people thinking outside the box, and you might get Dungeon Master inspiration, cool stuff like that. So, yeah.
And that's all what we want, because then we know that we've got the seal of approval.
All right.
Right.
So, yeah, if you're wanting to maybe have a change of things and you're not quite sure what you want to do or how you want to do it, it's okay to go away from session tonight and think about it and come back and let me know. And like, if I have time, I'm more than happy to jump into a call and talk to you guys about it, just to see. Like, you know, we'll find something that feels right thematically for your character, or something that feels right for your character within the world, and something that fits a little better. Because, as you guys may have figured out by now, I'm not necessarily one of those DMs who's like, rules is written only. I like the rule of cool. I like seeing you guys think outside the box with various different things. If you tell me something that's cool enough and I think it's rad, I will do my best to let you do it. But the dice make it out of my hands sometimes. But my job is to give you the opportunity to feel comfortable and safe enough to share these awesome ideas that you guys have with me. I'm in a very privileged position to be here. So, yeah.
Very excited.
Yeah.
The ever key.
So oh hell yeah.
That's so cool, man.
Blunt force trauma.
If no one else has got anything else, I've got a question about the book that I got off Harold as well.
Yes.
I'm assuming this was, I don't know, well before we finished studying. So what would I have got from that? necessarily.
Um,
I mean, apart from, hearing Granddad's voice again and stuff. And
I think what you would have got from that, given that it happened such a long time ago, actually roll a history check for me so we can determine how long ago this was and whether or not it'll give you anything, whether or not it'll, like, what it'll do for you. Yeah, roll a history check. Okay. I'm going to say that this happened very recently. Because, this is already at the point where Harold is, like, asking you to come into his office and help him do various different things, right? Like, he's comfortable enough to have you around.
not in a creepy old way.
He's way too old to be even considering anything like that. It would be dust and cobwebs, baby. That's it.
He also knows that I would kick his ass. So
yes, seven ways to Sunday as well. So, yeah. So I think, given that you have just hit level 7, I think thematically what we'd do is that would be the thing. Like, reading through it teaches you the stillness of mind, which would be the thing that takes you over into level 7. It's entirely up to you how you want to flavour it. If you want to, like, work out the scene, it's up to you.
No, well, not necessarily. It's just after months of reading and studying and all the rest of it, practicing and meditating on it and all that sort of malarkey that the monks get up to.
Mm-hmm.
You eventually get it, as
I feel
break down
like
the components and you build it up, and then eventually you can just. I get Snesley to frighten me, and then I'm.
Okay, hear me out. Hear me out. What if something happens where you guys are out on assignment? That really, really, like when you guys got stunned by that hag in the village? That would have been a perfect time to use your stillness of mind.
Yeah, would have been, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
All my DM inspiration, but you live and learn.
But now maybe after, so let's say that you find this book after you have that harrowing experience, right? Because it was scary enough that you still feel like it's not a safe thought for you to have, and it does still put you back in that same position of being, like, terrified for your life and really, really frightened. But maybe as you you find this book, and as you're reading through it, you can hear your granddad's voice, and it's sort of like that's what helps pull you back down together. That's what helps you, and this is why you haven't got any, like, lasting effects from this thing either, by the way, which canonically you should have. You should all be, like, however many years older and have all this other stuff going on. But maybe that's what, like, fixes you up from that. Because Jaya, you can return your HP to, like, the max of what it should be, by the way.
I can't even remember what it was.
It was like 35 instead of something.
And because you're all aged like 30 years except for Snesley.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I also put that down to, like, I initially was going to be 80 something, and I got my daughter to choose 2 numbers, and she came up with 53. And then we aged 30 years, so then I became 83, and I'm like, well, I'm obviously just meant to be 83. So
Yeah.
I was like,
Okay, so yeah, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna tie that stillness of mind breathing technique back to you working through this horrible and frightening experience that you had, and I'm trying to drill it into you. So if it happens again next time, remember that you have it and use it.
I've been reading my stuff too, and I'm going to have these plays up.
Yeah.
remember
What I would
that it's
recommend
there.
doing is on your notebook or on something that's available next to you next time we do like a proper interactive session, even if it's just like flashcards, just have them somewhere that you can see them. So if you are put in a situation, you can be like, okay, I have stillness of mind, I have like featherfall, I have fleet of foot, these things.
Yeah, I'm putting that together, so it will be done. Yeah, for sure.
And I just need to remember knock outside of combat.
Knocks out outside of combat.
Yeah, knocks out of combat.
Got a sling. Yeah.
Remember quickly, it's just we'll just treat it like the knock spell, don't we? But it's me.
The knock
bashing
smell.
someone.
is that what he does?
Jeez, it's been a long day. I started at 5.
Sorry, I'm yanking your chain, man. I'm sorry.
No. I believe it.
But yeah, what about you, Rhys, Cordy, and Sandy? What would you guys like to? Because essentially, what I want to give you guys is like either an item or something that you can do with an item that you already have that will allow you to do these epic heroic moments, or give you the opportunity or space to do so. Have you guys thought about anything like that, or is there something that's come up in conversation today that maybe you think could be cool or could work? I want to hear your ideas. This is collaborative storytelling.
I have these wisdom related skills, and
Mhm.
I haven't really been using them super well. I feel I'd love to lean into this knowledge side of my character.
Okay.
So maybe something that isn't about combat. It is more about like, yeah, sniffing things out. Because I've got great perception, I've got great insight. Something about seeing to the truth of things. I
Okay.
don't know.
Okay.
Mm.
Sorry, stimming
It's a
because I've
good
had an
idea.
idea.
So,
Yeah, let's hear it.
love it.
Timothy's little birds. You know what a little bird is in terms of criminal informants?
Yeah, like Varus. Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I'm talking about like because of the dark house and the people
A
that you
little
talk
bird
to.
told me.
Little
Yeah,
bird
okay.
told me. How does
That's
that
cute.
sound? I've got.
That sounds quite sweet.
Thea's got their own spy network, literally. That not
Yeah,
intentional, but it's
not
just
intentional,
her.
but it's just kind of it's literally sprouted up out of nowhere.
Like spores.
This would be
on the
Timothy's new canvas.
Yep.
Does that
I
sound
like
like
the
does that
phrase.
sound like
Yeah,
something you
awesome.
could do? So yeah, it's like Timothy's little
Yeah.
birds.
Yeah.
A little
My
bird
little
told me.
rumor network. Yeah, it's just and it's scuttlebutt like, but it's
Yeah.
and
It's
I like that
scuttlebutt,
it's
but in a
maybe-
nice way.
yeah, like the little Baker
Mm,
Street
no?
boys sort of
Yeah,
thing.
like the
Yeah.
street urchins know they can come to Uncle Tim for something hot to eat, and they pass you over, like shiny things and occasional tidbits of interesting information that you wouldn't
Yeah,
have found
yeah.
out any other way. And you want to
Mm.
keep them safe, so you don't even name them. You say, "Oh, well, a little bird told
A
me."
little nice. I like
Oh
that.
yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, that's I like that too. Sorry, that's why I stemmed so hard. I was like, I gotta say something about it.
That sounds good. This will make me
Getting
less
excited.
frustrated at the whole. But it's not about history or anything academic. It's definitely more about the people and what they're up to, which
Yes.
plays more into my kind of insight.
Yes, but it's also like because Timothy
Yeah.
is like sort of like
Trustworthy.
accidentally, quite often accidentally in the right place at the right time, but
Yeah.
doesn't want to like get anybody in trouble. So it's always, oh well, a little bird told me.
Of course,
You know,
you always protect your sources.
yeah, protect your little birds.
And somewhere along like maybe like in gameplay and all that, something can be like in this where something clicks like it's out where this like a little bird, one of your little birds has told you something and it's that's where the information came from. Just remember that sort of thing, and like as a role playing for the insight check or something, it's like
Yeah.
the little birds and
Okay, well, what I'm going to do mechanically for little birds is I'm going to give you, I think, 3 advantages on, like, so say if there's someone, like, if you're wanting to find out something about Ludus, if you're wanting to find out a piece of information about something, you could use a charge of little birds to give yourself advantage on the roll.
Okay, sounds good.
Does that sound good? So you get 3 charges of little birds per long rest. Or should I make it 2 charges? What do you guys think? How should we balance that?
I think this may be just something that comes up if
Yeah.
it comes up. Like, and I'm
Yeah.
happy for you to work out how it plays out or have it work with whatever you're planning. But yeah, I think it's more just
It's more like I want to talk about the world and all of the things that I've made for you guys, but I can't give the story away and it's driving me insane. So I'm kind of like, I just want excuses to tell you about things.
Yeah. So sneak in a little gimme next time Tim's getting
close.
inquisitive. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And then if you do the roll, I can say, well, a little bird told you.
And I'll be like, okay.
My little birds. I like that. I know I came up with it, but like I really like it. Sorry.
No, that sounds good. That sounds good. I don't think I need any particular help in the fight. That's what Blight is for.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, Blight's bananas. Hell of a spell.
or I just turn into a bear. That's
Or
fine.
your lichen form.
yeah.
I hadn't forgotten about that.
Yeah.
I'll give you that too. I'll give you that too. So you can,
Okay.
yeah. So you can have your shroom bear and your lichen wolf, and your little birds.
You know that
It could
there is
be a fox.
there is a wolf lichen as well, just to be confusing. So the
Yeah,
lichen
'cause it's-
wolf
yeah,
can
'cause
be
it's
made of wolf
shaggy.
lichen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You sure you don't want it to be a fox? Because then it could be bear, fox, toadstool.
BFT.
T. Yeah.
I see what you did there, but no, like the wolf lichen wolf.
Yeah, the lichen wolf thing is way too funny not to have in, I
There
think.
you go. No,
Okay, but like, just in terms of like your wild shape though, how many wild shapes do you have access to at level 7? Let me check.
Two.
Oh, 3 or 4. Oh, yeah, because you're not like a circle, so.
Yeah, circle. You're circle of spores, aren't you?
Oh, is that? Yeah, so not circle.
Yeah.
Yeah, moon.
So because
my druid level determines the beast, blah blah blah. Can any beast that has a challenge rating of a quarter or lower that doesn't have a flying or swimming speed. So I could just, I can basically pick between critters. So I could be a wolf or I could be a bear.
Okay, I'm gonna give you a couple of options here because we're thinking about utility, not just like combat stuff, right? So you've got your fungus bear, you've got your lichen wolf. I feel like you need a small sneaky animal.
Weasel.
So you could do you could do a cat, you could do a weasel, you could do a fox, or a ferret.
I mean, I
feel like
have
a
a thing
ferret
for
fits quite well.
Actually, yeah.
Goose.
Bear, ferret.
Goose, because geese are like animals.
Okay, but the only problem with gooses is like the flying speed thing.
It needs to be smaller.
Yeah.
I want something that's raw or tiny.
A weasel is actually really small.
Yeah, weasels are really small. Like, they're little critters.
And you can roleplay weasel shit really well.
Because the thing I'm getting you to think about is utility. Like with knock, how you can knock a hole in a wall to get you from A to B, or with with the stillness breathing with Thea. Actually, Thea, for your stillness breathing thing, going back to that, I want to give you the ability to help someone else out of the frightened condition too.
I think a gecko, because then I can slither and.
You want to do a gecko? Yep.
Yeah,
so you're a lizard, Cordy.
Little
exactly.
Like a fly on the wall, but it's a tiny little lizard, and I can stick the wall and be like.
Yeah. You could do like a crested gecko, because they look like they've got growths on them.
And then you can lick your eyeballs.
Yeah, and then you can lick your own eyeballs too. Thank you, Rhys. Thanks for that mental image.
Yeah, I'm just looking at weird geckos here now.
While you're doing that, to get back to you, Danielle, because you found that book, and because you rolled over a 15, I do kind of want to give you the ability, like, because you've got your sling, but because of your breathing technique thing, it's going to be the same as like the little birds and knock. So it's going to be like out of combat kind of roleplay world stuff. I feel like you'd be able to use that breathing technique to calm like both yourself and someone else down. Do you guys think that maybe the stillness of mind, I could give her 1 extra charge of stillness of mind to be cast on someone else?
I think that's fair.
That works.
I think that works pretty well.
So without having to use a key point, or so it'd be myself and somebody else at the same time? Is it a key point?
I think I think for your own, like, for your own Uncle Rex's deep breath.
Indeed.
Or we'll just call it Rex's deep breath.
Robot Rex is an actual person.
We'll call it Rex's deep breath, and I feel like when you put it onto your character sheet now, and it's gonna be I'm gonna let you use this one in combat, but you get 1 per long rest, and that's it. You can use a key point to basically like walk someone else through their fear or their charm as a bonus action.
For me, or for
Would you
my
be
bonus
like
action or their bonus action?
Touch. It'd be touch. So you'd have to get up close to someone, and it's basically like you got the mental image of Thea like grabbing you by the face or grabbing you by the shoulders and breathing with you to calm you down. Yeah, the eye contact, and like, so it's got to be it's a touch spell.
Yep.
It costs
Bonus
a key
action.
point, and it's a bonus action, and you get 1 charge per long rest. That's how I'm balancing it out for combat stuff. All your other stillness of mind things are only for yourself, so you can only do it for another person once.
So that's for someone else.
Yeah.
I can just imagine They're doing it on Snesley, like having to actually literally kick him in the knees.
Yeah. Kick him in the knees and like slap him around the face and like, pull yourself together, man.
I just jump up you like I do every other time.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, true. Yeah.
Yeah, because like it's up to you how you want to skin it, but I feel like it would be like Taya's rallying breath, where it's like pull yourself together, break someone else out of a stun or a fear or a charm.
There's got to be a BFT in there somewhere. First one per long rest. Okay, in combat.
Make sure you write down its
Okay,
touch
cool.
as well.
Yeah, I've got touch there. Awesome. Yeah, and stillness of mind is normally... Oh, it really helps to read if you can put glasses on.
Funny that.
I know, it's getting worse and worse. It will come for you all.
I hope I get long-sighted as I age, because I am incredibly short-sighted now.
No,
So hopefully it'll balance out.
I hate to tell you, it does not. I am incredibly short-sighted. I wear contacts most of the time.
Tits,
Or,
alright.
no,
That's
all
not
of
what I
the
wanted to hear.
Sorry, since I was 12. And an optometrist told me it would balance out. And then another optometrist last year said, no, you now need reading glasses as well. Because it's...
Yeah, I'm on the
difference
reading
between
glasses, so
stiffness. Yeah.
Great.
I'm
hearing that.
Now,
And it
I'm
happens
reading
really
glasses.
quickly.
I should
I'm
be very-
long-sighted, so I use glasses so I can read.
Yeah.
Alright, so...
Bifocals are the word.
Yes, so we've got Cordy. Cordy, you've got your epic moment with your little birds.
Yep, I'm still thinking about wild shaping, whether it's
Yeah.
I do like there's a wolf spider kind of is one of the wild shape options, but I kind of like the lizard kind of.
I also kind of like the lizard. Because
As
I
long
feel
as
like...
it can stick to walls and see
Yeah.
the dark and hide good, that's really all I care about. It's
Yeah.
not going to be
Because that one's like the get into
gonna get
tight
hit.
spaces utility kind of like I'm not here to fight kind of thing.
Yeah.
And licking your eyeballs.
And licking your own eyeballs, yeah.
Look my
Also,
eyes.
being unable to prevent yourself from eating bugs
Yeah. Yeah, that balances out the licking the eyeball.
balances out the licking of the eyeballs.
It's just as gross, but just as good.
All right, Jar and Tovull. Given what we've been
be a
discussing with the rest of the,
crocodile if
sorry,
I can be a crocodile if I want.
if you want,
I
Yeah.
don't know if it's really that. Maybe it might come in handy in the water. Who knows?
yeah, who knows?
Can be one. Just FYI.
Yeah.
Come croc.
I am
just like
Croc,
crocodile.
destroyer of other crocs.
I want to surf on the back of a crocodile. Same.
Could happen. All right, so Rhys and
You
Tovull,
could
given what we've been
say-
talking about with the other members of the party, have you guys had any thoughts about something similar that you think might have a similar mechanic for you? Any ideas?
A lot of what I've done with Tovull is I've made him very, very mobile. So I've
Yeah.
given him the mobile feat, so he has a 40 movement speed. He has face up, so he can teleport around the place, so he can move around.
Mhm.
With his face step, it doesn't quite match how he's actually turned out. When I first made him, I made him to be quite mischievous and all that. But with his autumn face step, it's actually supposed to charm people. Whereas I feel like Tovull has become quite the healer of the party, just jumping around, jumping around healing. So if there was like, maybe not even heal just because I do that on my turns already, but if I teleport near someone, or am I able to boost their AC, or if I teleport, am I able to grab someone with me?
Okay.
Like Medivac, like a Medivac, the metal.
Okay.
Yeah.
What if it's we call it pile of leaves, and it's where you teleport next to someone, then the enemy on their next hit on that person rolls a disadvantage because you appear in a pile of leaves.
I like it. I like it a lot.
But again, if you're going to be using it in combat, you only get one charge of pile of leaves per long rest.
That works perfectly.
I love leaves. I love this so much.
Yeah,
Right.
it's yeah. So Tovull has this like pile of leaves. I just like you know when you're a kid and you're throwing up piles of like autumn leaves and stuff like that and like hiding in them and like throwing them around. That's the kind of mental image I have of Tovull. Like it's like pocket sand, but it's like leaves. Like you throw pocket leaves at the enemy, and the enemy's like, "What the?" Yeah. So we'll give you. So when you do your teleport in combat, what we'll do. So is it a phase step mechanic that you use for this on
Yeah.
Roll20? Okay, I just want to read your character sheet to double check just to make sure I'm not like, because I don't want Molly to come back to the game and be like, why the hell have they got all this extra stuff? Because I want to make it like it's fair and it makes you guys think a little bit more about your positioning and your action economy and like the fun stuff that your characters are designed to do and the flavor that we've talked about together and like this beautiful, lovely molded melting pot that we've all sort of
Did you say
built.
molded?
I did. Damn it. The bag of molding. Oh God, I'm so funny. I am so funny. Okay, so we've got
funny.
Your spells.
I do have to seriously go to bed.
That's all right. That's okay. We're not going to be hanging out for too much longer. But thank you so much for dropping by, Cordy. I cannot wait to see how you use your little birds and your lichen wolf. And your crested gecko.
Yeah, I'll have to find you.
Find me a funky lizard. Find me a funky lizard, baby.
Just give him the gecko gecko, like.
Yeah. You just appear on the wall. We've been trying to reach you about your extended warranty.
Oh my god. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much for hanging out. Really, really appreciate you. I hope you have a great rest of your evening and take care of yourself.
Thank you. I will
Very
send
welcome.
some cute animal photos your
Yes,
way.
please
and
do.
frustrate everyone with the tokens.
That'll
Sorry,
be
no, it's my mind.
No,
Here are all the animals.
Yeah, here are all the animals I want. All right.
Okay.
Excellent. All right. Kakite, buddy. You look after yourself, okay?
Bye.
All right. Good night. Okay.
I'm going to have to run too because I've got to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning.
That's okay. Thank you so much for hanging out, Rhys. And yeah, think about like what you might want as like a bonus mechanic on one of your existing mechanics.
I've got an idea for something.
Okay. Drop it. Drop it on me before you leave.
I don't know how to do it, but in the game
Let me worry about that.
In the game I'm running, I've got a couple of fairy dragons that sort of hang out with the party.
I haven't used sugar and spice for a while, actually.
No, you haven't. But I was thinking maybe a ghostly form of a fairy dragon or something like that could be used in some way occasionally.
Maybe not fairy dragon, but maybe just a straight up little like poltergeist.
Yeah. I'll leave that with you.
I'm having all the ideas now.
Yeah. It's something that could be used, I guess, like a pet, but I've never played a character as a pet before.
Okay, hear me out before you leave. What if I give you Mage Hand, but it's a poltergeist?
So I can manipulate things.
Yeah, you can definitely throw cups at people. But yeah, so it's gonna be like Mage Hand, but you have to roll to see how well you can control it. And whether or not it'll actually do things for you. Because you know how Mage Hand's like usually like a cantrip, right?
Yeah.
What we could do is make it like you have to roll like a ranged spell attack to see whether or not your Mage Hand or your poltergeist will actually cooperate with you.
We could have it like rather than succeed or fail, but more like
a magnitude of success.
Yeah, like whether it does what I ask it to do, whether it does
its own thing. Like I summon my poltergeist and I ask it to very gently turn the door handle. You fail the roll and it slaps Snesley really hard across the back of the head instead.
This sounds like
I feel like this sounds like fun.
I'm up for this. I'm up for that.
How do you feel about that, like poltergeist?
That sounds good.
Okay, I feel like if you're successful with your rolls on poltergeist, that could lead to some really, really cool like out of combat interactive world stuff. What do you guys think?
And if you fail with them, it still leads to great comedic.
It's still funny.
Yeah, guys.
Definitely.
Yeah. What do you think, Danielle and Sandy? Does that sound
love
like
it.
That works perfectly, I reckon.
okay?
I think it's awesome.
It's really cool. I like it.
Yeah, because you've got Thea's rallying breath. You've got knock. you've got Thea's rallying breath. You've got knock. You've got pocket leaves, little birds, and a jar of dice's poltergeist. Jar of Dicey's poltergeisty.
Actually, my breath is actually going to be called. It's going to be breath from Thea until I can come up with a better name. Because
Okay.
then that's a BFT for you.
Yeah, breath from Thea's good.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
officially
it's a
in the book-
beating from Thea.
Well, it was in the book Rex's deep breath.
Yeah.
but I've renamed it for myself.
That's fine. I want you guys to think about these things that embody not just like your character's skills and stuff, but I want you to start thinking about why your characters have these skills. Like for Jar of Dice, he made friends with a poltergeist that sometimes is really, really helpful, and other times just wants to cause as much chaos as physically possible. And then you've got Snesley with his knock, which is basically I can't find my way around it, so I guess I'm gonna go through it.
It's really just him smashing it with the hammer.
Yeah.
There's more with BFT,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, and then we've got
automatically
Tovull's
open.
pocket of leaves where it's basically throws up leaves, panics, teleports. Yeah. No, it's really cool. I'm really enjoying you guys getting all excited about it with me, because this is the fun bit. This is why I love D&D and doing character development and roles and stuff like that. So
I love it when we find these bits and they fit really well.
yeah,
They make sense. It just makes the game when we come to play and do the story part and the fighty part. It just makes it so much better. Because otherwise you're not just I'm going to hit with my sword, or I'm going to...
yeah. This is the kind of DM that I am. I want you guys to have fun and be silly and think about your characters as more than just
It's gonna
tools.
It's 3 to 6 a.m. It's gonna be silly.
It's gonna be silly. Yeah, it's gonna be real silly.
If you give us
All right.
reasons.
Awesome. Go to bed, Rhys.
Reese.
We will catch up about your poltergeist stuff another time.
Yep.
And yeah, we'll fine tune all these mechanics as we go through before we play properly. But yeah, I'm really excited to see where we go with it. It's going to be so much fun.
Did you
Okay.
say once or
Very
twice
cool.
for knock outside of.
Twice. I'll give you 2 casts a knock. Good night, Rhys.
And on that note, I'm gonna have to go too because I'll
Yeah.
be up at 4 in the morning.
That's
so-
okay. You have done well to stay up as long as you have. Thank you so much.
I didn't work very hard today.
That's
I set
fine.
my truck.
You still went there.
Oh. Yeah, and then they came my site after 4 hours of bloody sitting there with them not turning up, and it's bastards.
Unreal.
So much fun.
Oh well, it's
Yeah.
great fun.
Yeah, that's all right. We've done good work today. We've established some fun things that have happened in your past, and given you places to go when you're in Ludus and doing exploring. And yeah, read through the document. I'll update it before we have a session next time with all the stuff that we talked about today. And then yeah, it'll basically just be a little running tally of fun stuff in Ludus and Lusa that we've done together and found out and discovered and all that sort of stuff.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go too because I'm.
That's all right.
Have a
Good
good
night,
night.
everybody. Thank you
Good
so much for
night.
today.
Glad your day working out too.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
so you can use it.
That's all good. Thanks so much, team. Have a great rest of your evening.
Right, so
Bye.
good.
Bye.
Bye.